それじゃあ、次の、プログラムに入らさせていただきます。事前にお配りしていたプログラムでは、この時間は私が橋本がしゃべることになっていたんですが、いろいろな事情でですね、もう少しちょっと親切岡田さんと交代してスイッチして、お届けするという形になります。非常にいろいろな事情がありまして岡田さんは、現在国文学研究資料館に特任研究員として、お勤めで、専門は日本語学で、日本語学の分野では、もう数々の賞を受賞しておられる、分野の多くといって過言ではないと思います。で、その日本語学と研究としてと合わせて、データベースを構築されたりとかいろいろデジタルヒューマニティーズの、プロジェクトも非常に積極的に、関わっておられますし、人文情報学月報という、日本のデジタルヒューマニティーズの、情報を、毎月、刊行されている、オンラインメルマガがあるんですけど、そこでも、デジタルヒューマニティーズの、連載を、岡田さんは持っておられます。それではじゃあ岡田さんよろしくお願いいたします。
Thank you for your introduction. I'm Kazuhiro Okada from Najo. This time I will present about Japanese philology. In particular, I'm talking about the database of primary Japanese books and the Wakame Hiroganographium database. Can you hear? Alright. I will read about distributed to you. Philology reveals the science involved in the form of books, a field of study in which one considers a variety of books in an area or language. The study must begin with the book itself. How the text is derived, how readings differ among texts, what it looks like, how it is arranged, who wrote the original, and especially for manuscripts, how they were copied, as well as how it is narrated. In this right, the content is not the ultimate goal, but merely a topic among others. It is my responsibility here today to introduce two databases. Institutional must archive the database of Japanese pre-modern texts and the TINI Personal Hiragana database, the Wakame Hiroganographium database. It is impossible in a single presentation to mention all aspects of database use in Japanese philology. Thus, instead, I would like to focus on these two databases, both of which I am personally involved in. The first one is a large digital archive that hosts several tens of thousands of classical Japanese works, the graphical records of classical Japanese works worldwide, as well as their digital images. Its aim, still only partially achieved, is to show to our users the access materials are not only by bibliographic record but also by full text and calculus, for instance. In contrast, the latter database is an outcome of a personal project of mine concerning the classification of hundreds of archived varieties of hiragana shapes pronounced obsolete in the year 19,000. The old varieties bore differences that are often too nuanced for easy reading by modern eyes, something like the well-known historical difference between long S and F in European languages. They are surely distinguished, however, not because of necessity, but just because of being there. We will discuss in the later sections. This database provides a standard for distinguishing of these forms and when they were when they were respectively in use. As is evident from these brief descriptions, these databases are considerably disparate. However, their aims are common as a rule, to serve as part of an infrastructure of Japanese philology. This is not a trivial point. Showcasing databases are for results and infrastructure, ones are for data. Orientations to either an infrastructure or showcase will largely define the characteristics of databases. However, institutional databases tend to develop in consensus-based ways, unlike databases led by principal investigators designed to serve as fundamental to make the former type of database more open. With this point in mind, I will explore the use of these two databases and give some additional thoughts on this Japanese philology. Database, as has been repeatedly pointed out, we are living in a scientist where computers seem inevitable and ubiquitous in all aspects of life. If you personally do not like computers, because critically important to your life, medical, governmental, commercial, or whatever, are digitally managed by someone else. Academics who refuse to use computers in principle have to prepare their manuscript by hand and hand them over to publishers who at the time would have to prepare hand-carved printed drafts by set up manually. That is, unless one is prepared to do every step of research, writing and publication by hand, there is no way with a computer can ease the process. No modern typesetting systems are free from computers, just like everything else. In particular, across realms, engaging in logic with a computer is terrible to imagine. These are databases in the humanities are now inevitable, fundamental part of the field's logistics studies about access to information. We search various research repositories and do Google searches for information during every research study and before every scholarly meetings, because no one can advance their research effectively with only what they have available to hand. In libraries, we first press search terminals to identify or locate materials. Often, these institutions provide online access to their catalogs so that your laptop or smartphone can connect you to the desired books or read sources. Most of the classical novels have browse reproductions of classical materials firsthand in digital libraries. Many of us must have had a happy experience of being able to consult digital materials in urgent moments when the library that contains them are closed. In Japanese philology as well, these databases have been flourishing. Recent developments in them are noteworthy. We can even consult raw materials. There are Japanese illustrated scrolls and similar fragile materials show overseas in our own homes. Digital Japanese philology has long history and yet is still in its infancy as a field. What cannot be things done solely using digital methods such as statistical or other informatics methods? This is not due to any fault of these approaches, but to differences in the amount of material available online and in analog form. Even now, only a fraction of practical resources are fully digitized, that is, fully searchable and manipulable, and distinct from simply being available online. Some are not online at all. It is clear that fundamental tools and materials for digital Japanese philology are urgently needed. The following two databases aim to partially fill the gap. The database of Japanese prima donna text in Japanese in Nihongo Densetsu database is digital archive focused on prima donna Japanese materials. That is materials from before the beginning of the Meiji era in 1868. The database presents Tens of thousands of detailed images of such materials and attempts to raise the profile among the general public as they are underappreciated in the present day, mainly due to the differences in writing systems. The database was released for trial in April 2017 and officially launched in October 2017. The current system mainly focuses on the variability of digital images of original materials. Subsequently, it has emphasized an adoption of methods and practices from the digital humanities which power to reality with pre-modern materials among present-day people. Such methods and practices include annotating images with what we call tags, facilitating image research, image search and illegible strings, and augment search for transcribed text. It's a database operated by the National Institute of Japanese Literature and made available under the auspices of universities and institutions worldwide. Currently, the project to build an international collaborative research network for pre-modern Japanese texts, or NIJEL network project for short, is responsible for the database. Its aim is to digitize and utilize pre-modern Japanese works. Considering the changed writing systems, there may be another decision to be made. The periodization of 1868 mirrored Nigel's editorial flagship for pre-modern bibliographies, which devised classical and modern works of 1868. Now that it include work written by Chinese, Koreans, or people of ethnicities, that is, from materials published, copied, or transmitted but not created by Japanese out of the scope of the database. Currently, it holds over 70,000 images of the items, of which a few hundreds are annotated and several are searchable. Until recently, Japanese philosophical materials were not widely available on the internet. Some large libraries and institutions have endeavored to construct these libraries, but theirs are really just bibliographic database with distracted images and nothing more. This creates materials for more digitally advanced philological traditions, including those of Latin, Greek, and Chinese. This availability has long been a barrier for members of the general public with a philological interest, including average Japanese and overseas learners. This project was initiated to broaden the availability of modern Japanese works to the general public and foster international research on modern Japanese works. Whereas the modern reforms to the Japanese writing system have promoted mass literacy, they also introduced a serious barriers to engagement with all media. Conversion of works in older writing systems to more modern ones has not been conducted systematically but only incidentally when works remain popular or gain a limited fan base devoted enough to transcribe them. This does not, however, entail that older works are worthless pile of papers. Rather, in most cases, they have been left alone simply because there was the mass to pay attention to. Since then, we have gradually lost touch with those of materials, especially lengthy books. The project considers that these works are not only keys to understanding the lives of primitive Japanese people, but also a large amount of knowledge are left out in those piles. The availability of books is also conditioned by the rarity of the books themselves. For a long time, paper and alternative materials were expensive, and literacy was not granted. And the Japanese hierarchy of the period entailed that cultural heritage was handed down not to the common people but to highest educational institutions, governmental libraries, and libraries of noble family and tycoons. Access to those libraries is sometimes complicated and sometimes impossible. This project partly aims at liberating this knowledge by the power of the internet, digitizing such works and making them available online. The initiative was formed when the Science Council of Japan in 2010 recommended facilitating general access and research and promote the text as a large international funded scientific program. As Nigeria had conducted investigation, reproduction, and contemporary on Japanese text since its establishment in 1972, it was a natural candidate to lead the initiative. It is estimated that the number of modern Japanese texts amounts to 600,000, including different versions of one work. Note that before mass multiplication, variation in its manifestation was not insignificant. Of these, approximately 300,000 items is assumed to be the largest possible number for dissertation. Since 2014, the project has been a work myriad on dissertation. The JPT is intended to be a public portal that digitizes images. A program with multi-method search capability, bibliography, tags, and text. Leaving technical matters aside, JPT is based on the national bibliography of primitive text maintained. This bibliography is originally referred to as Kokushosomo Group was a union catalog was a Japanese text. Started in 1939 and lost until 1976, have been organized by Wanami, supervised by prominent philologists in order to accumulate Japanese text varieties. The bibliography control for bibliographical variations such as variation in title and author. For instance, Narihira Shu, the private work collection of Ariwara no Narihira, Kuti and Wakapoet, has many variants including Ariwara no Narihira, Ason Shu, and Zai Chujo Shu. This also helps distinguish different works under the same title. As for author, an individual may go by different names of pseudonyms. For example, the above example, Ariwara no Narihira, is sometimes called Zai Chujo, right? Otashishi, a bureaucrat and author of Edo period, named himself Nampo, Shokusanji, and so forth. This is not uncommon among classical texts, this is not uncommon among classical texts and control bibliography can therefore avoid confusion in handling such materials from various institutions. The main service is internally constructed in addition to the bibliography database. It enables overviewing the whole of primitive Japanese work with the availability of digital images. The service employs an open technological framework. The international image interoperability framework that allows images to be displayed beyond the boundary of individual databases. It is inconvenient for comparing between material available from different services using the same framework. For example, with the help of the framework, we can compare in the browser window illustration of the tale of Issei from JPT with those from, for instance, the Bibliothèque Nationale de France, the digital library were recently opened scroll from the Fondation Martin Bodmer available on Baja Manuscript Library of Switzerland. The database's adopted framework is effective for extending its services as internally or third-party developed software applications do not need to consider the inside of the database, which is hidden, but just need to rely on the framework which is open. Some features introduced regular though not all, utilize the framework in construction. The JPT, reflecting the Institute's decade-long mission, offers a usual method of bibliographic querying, but also several access means not relying on such bibliographic knowledge. Here we present some of these features and the feature roadmap. This project does not plan to transfer all the text in all the work into the modern Japanese writing system, but instead to tag as many parts of the material as possible in order to directly access the knowledge inside them. A tag is an annotation consisting of a character or set of characters appended to pieces of text or data in order to identify or organize it or categorize it. According to the Oxford Dictionary of English, here the term is limited to image annotations. Currently, academic tagging is conducted by national faculty members, part-time taggers, and specialized commissions on medical and mathematical history. It aims at accumulation of things appear in images in preparation to welcome countries from land society. Tags are given to tag or wood of a spread of the image of text. The aim of academic tagging is to complete the whole or a part of the image precisely. Taggers suggested were tagging and are thus some extent controlled. Social tagging is found in tentatively for 2022. Usually, social tagging involves taxonomy. Applying taxonomic methods to cultural heritage institutions is an attempt to fill a wide, deep gap in knowledge and engagement with cultural heritage between the general public and professionals, including scholars, cultural curators, and librarians. Wyman and others set as a research question: how patrons understand and describe materials through social tagging and find it to be considerably different from academic tagging. Whereas academic tagging describes the analytical concept of the works, social taggers simply describe what they are. As among others and others confirm, the general quality of social tagging is high, and adding taxonomic tags to existing control tags bring efficiency to the process of discovery. In particular, simple tag of old man to a picture of Thomas Edison does. Therefore, these tags have the potential to allow more intuitive querying method for the general public. JPT is also running a text querying service that works with inputting text through a technical word spotting. In this case, one that enhanced by Professor Hirosawa Kengo at Kyushu University Okada. Word spotting method enables users to query text by blind images of text the user wishes to find above. This helps users to access text with a working knowledge of paragraphy. Regrettably, due to some technical limitations, this service is not currently deployed on all materials. Last but not least, JPT comments the traditional transcription as well, but in another way, by encouraging the development of OCR system for all handwritings, backed by a large dataset of character images in JPT. Even though OCR is not perfect, it is sometimes a convenient aid to human transcription. The data set is open and freely available, and third-party researchers are invited to use it. Human transcription is currently being attempted but not employed widely. Also, Nigeria has long followed its own transcription conventions. It is not considering switching over to the most standardized TEI, a widely used schema on structured transcription. Nigeria will contribute to its East Asian Japanese SIG, which upholds guidelines on adopting the TEI schema to Japanese text, while contributing contributing to a literary text. Contributing to the brand not only interoperability of text produced by Azure, but also the chance to develop digital philological method with TI conforming methods. Consideration of inviting public input is also made on the transcription. There have been numerous public engagement projects, including Koza and Wallace on Jeremy Benson manuscript and Hashimoto on Japanese coverage code on aspect, which will be readily introduced. These projects are simply transcribe text with writing materials and are generally not concerned about either structural reading between the texts, are important philological concepts that capture differences between texts. The large amount of plain text transcription will develop a new perspective for disability. If we end about to conduct an in-depth philological investigations, plain transcription are often insufficient to elaborate variants. Moreover, also adopting TI schema would help in variant investigation. It also involves complexity on administration and transcription qualities. As an infrastructure project with a strong emphasis on particular material, careful consideration is required on how public transcription shall be conducted. Irrespective of methods, however, transcription directly enhances the readability into pre-modern materials and is a basis for future works in digital Japanese philology. At present, the Nigerian Network project is concentrating on the dissertation plan off the ground. Therefore, currently, the database is limited to providing digitized images. However, also on the trial search via tags, text, and text images. The project welcomes any input and contribution for future improvement to help it serve as a major platform for digital Japanese philology. Third-party contribution are one of the rationales for making the project open. Regarding social engagement, there is no simple, straightforward way to communicate with the general public. On the other hand, some chaotic communication with a broad audience may allow database providers to get unexpected adverse experiences, which is not with misfortune. It shows us the necessity of learning from others. The second one, the Wakame Hiragana Graphing Database, is a teeny database that provides structured knowledge about all hiragana. This database was originally launched in May 2016. Its initial aim was to capture the hidden structure of Wakame by classifying all the hiragana talks intuitively. Wakame is a project that emerged from my PhD project, which concerned of the hiragana brands around the town that eliminated 10 to hundreds of brands in around 1900. It arose from the question how brands shall be computationally defined, which implication of cursive brands appeared to be seamless and difficult to distinguish. Wakame and database also aimed to resolve this issue. Our hiragana was descended from the cursive representation of both Chinese characters. When they were simplified and standardized into modern hiragana in the 1900s, in the 1900s also graphic reform, knowledge regarding brands declined. The branches include not only those based on different Chinese characters, but also those from the same character but resulted from different manners of classification. This marks storage innovation produced a number of reasonable variants. For example, name and ray, which are still used. And if we consider all the hiragana, ni from and so considerably resemble. And in case of those from the same Chinese structure, subtle difference in categorization are numerous. For example, I show you an example from now. Even though we can still read what is written in Oto Hiragana in how the distinction between Oto Hiragana variants cannot be confirmed based on modern intuition. However, classification of Hiragana variants in particular material by plants have been recently attempted. Convincing evidence in intuitive differential of those has been pursued. Wakame is a cartographic dictionary in the period specializing in Hiragana. To the best of my knowledge, it is the first dictionary of its kind and the one and only dictionary in terms of ordering. Later calligraphic dictionaries have till today ordered example of character group with original Chinese characters in accordance with the degree of classicalness, even though it often hinders chronological ordering. Wakame, on the other hand, does not group examples by source characters, rather it groups them by strokes. This ordering warrants the distinction of all Hiragana variants. It was compiled by Tokoe and published in 1768. The biography of the compiler is not known. Copies of written impressions are owned by many libraries, and some of the books used for printing the original still exist at Nara University Museum. Gifted by a former Kyoto publisher and now antiquarian bookseller Sasaki Chikuhoro. The existing books show us that no substantial changes have been made, except the pagination of donation of publishers' credit. Toh collected examples of Hiragana from 1979 masters of calligraphy, ancient and modern, and classified them according to the Iroha order, a Japanese program. It is not unique in consulting the Iroha order, but it also classified variant using two strategy types, resemble strategy and cognate strategies. The resemble strategy exhibits almost the same distinction as a modern classification has induced from materials. As succeeding dictionary have classified variants solely in terms of original characters, the ordering is Wakame and thus quite unique. Because intention of Wakame database was as a proof of concept to demonstrate that the reconstruction of Wakame and variant groups being would naturally exhibit the distinction operation. This attitude can be termed visually naturalistic distinction operation. This proof was designed because although this attitude has gradually gained support among the scholarly community, it was not yet fully established. This initial task was soon achieved with a difficulty and the motivation shifted to a further task, making an index of all Hiragana variants. This intention originated from the fact that there have been no consistent labeling of all Hiragana variants. I recall myself that it is not an easy task to manage labeling variety consistently, and that I sometimes broke the consistency of the scheme research. Therefore, Wakame database was intended to be an index of the Hiragana variant to supplement the labels. Wakame database is structured as a hierarchy of sections, variant groups, and instance. Annotations such as original character annotation are given to groups, not to each instance. This is to modify the original intention as minimally as possible. A remark shall be made on the relation between the system and Unicode's Hentaigana. The main difference is that Unicode does not distinguish most difference among variation of the same origin in support of the efficiency of encoding. The ability to document difference in variation that serve as relational to Wakame database against Unicode. In making a consistent index, the weakest point is understood to be the person in charge, as an old problem tells to all is human. However, revision of index variable reference method or revision and hence cause loss of user confidence in these indices. Among its woes, until recently, digital databases tend to remove old versions. With this in mind, Wakame database is designed to keep all revision and force users to cite the index grid to the high version. And the conclusion, digital Japanese philology is at its own. Down the main lost several decades yet. But when firm ground is established, our knowledge will flourish and extend further and further. In this discussion, we have introduced databases into digital philology and considered how they sit on common ground. The focus is not on denouncing in-depth showcasing databases, but on appreciating the way wide, deep infrastructure database make scholarly exploration possible. Thank you.